All right, listen up. Let me ask you something. How many of you have ever felt stuck? Like life is just piling up on you, one problem after another, and no matter what you do, you feel like you can't break through. Raise your hands. Don't be shy. Yeah, I see you, because I've been there too. We all have. But let me tell you something. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And the reason most people stay stuck, stay frustrated, stay overwhelmed, it's not because they're not smart enough, not capable enough, not strong enough. It's because they're carrying around a set of rules that are keeping them in chains. Rules that have been programmed into them by their past, by society, by their own limiting beliefs. And today we're breaking those chains. I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine waking up every morning with absolute clarity, with energy that makes you feel unstoppable. Imagine not being haunted by your past, not being weighed down by fear, not letting the opinions of others control your life. Imagine living with total confidence, total freedom, and knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you are in charge of your happiness, that no matter what life throws at you, you've got this. Because let's be real. There are only 7 things you truly need to understand about life. 7 simple rules that if you live by them will transform everything. Your mindset, your relationships, your success, everything. And today we're diving into each one by one. So, are you ready? Say yes. Say it like you mean it. All right, let's go. Make peace with your past. Don't let it control your present. Your past is like a book you've already read. The pages are written, the story is played out, and no matter how many times you go back and reread it, you can't change a single word. Yet, too many people live as if they're still trapped in those old chapters, constantly reliving the pain, the regrets, the failures. They carry their past like a heavy weight on their shoulders, allowing it to dictate their present decisions, emotions, and even their future potential. But here's the truth. The past only has power over you if you keep giving it power. Think about it. Have you ever made a mistake and replayed it over and over in your mind? Maybe it was a bad relationship, a missed opportunity, or a failure that knocked you down hard. The problem isn't that these things happened. The problem is how much energy you keep pouring into them. The past is done. It doesn't exist anymore. The only thing keeping it alive is your attachment to it. Now, this isn't about ignoring your past or pretending it never happened. It's about making peace with it, fully acknowledging it, learning from it, and then letting it go. Every experience, good or bad, shaped you into the person you are today. If you grew up in hardship, it taught you resilience. If you failed in business, it taught you valuable lessons for your next venture. If you were betrayed, it taught you about trust and boundaries. The key is to take the lesson, not the pain. Too many people define themselves by their past. They say, I am this way because of what happened to me. But that's just a story. And stories can be rewritten. You are not your past. You are who you decide to be right now. If you keep reliving old wounds, you're missing the opportunity to create something new. When you constantly dwell on what's already happened, you're stealing energy from what could happen. You're stuck in a prison of your own making, holding on to something that doesn't even exist anymore. Forgiveness plays a massive role in making peace with the past, not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. We all make mistakes, we all hurt people, we all wish we could go back and do things differently, but you can't move forward if you're still punishing yourself for something you cannot change. The past is a teacher, not a life sentence. The only question is, are you ready to graduate, or will you keep repeating the same lesson? One of the best ways to release the past is to stop telling the same old stories. Every time you talk about how someone wronged you, how you failed, or how life has been unfair, you reinforce that reality in your mind. Your words shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your future. Instead of repeating stories of pain, start telling stories of growth. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, focus on what you learned and how it made you stronger. Time heals everything. Trust the process and be patient. When you're in the middle of pain, it feels like it's never going to end. A breakup, a failure, a loss, these moments can be crushing, making it seem like the hurt will last forever. But here's the reality. Nothing lasts forever. Not pain, not failure, not even the worst moments of your life. Time has a way of softening even the sharpest wounds, but only if you allow it to. Think about the worst thing that's ever happened to you, something that at the time felt unbearable. Now fast forward to today. It still exists in your memory, but does it have the same intensity? Probably not. That's because time did its job. It healed you, not overnight, not instantly, but gradually. Pain is like a storm. It rages, it feels endless, but no storm lasts forever. Eventually, the clouds clear, the rain stops, and the sun comes out again. But healing doesn't happen if you keep picking at the wound. If you keep revisiting old pain, replaying bad memories, or staying in environments that trigger your suffering, you delay the healing process. Imagine breaking a bone and then refusing to let it rest. You keep using it, straining it, and every time it starts to heal, you break it again. Emotional healing works the same way. You have to give it space, patience, and trust. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to rush healing. They want to feel better now, they want answers now, they want closure now. But life doesn't work on your timeline. Sometimes you don't get the closure you want. You just have to accept what is and move forward anyway. Sometimes the pain takes longer to fade than you'd like, but rushing it only makes it worse. When something painful happens, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's showing you that you're stronger than you thought. Every painful experience has a lesson hidden inside it, and the sooner you look for that lesson, the sooner you'll start to heal. So when you're going through something painful, trust time. Trust that the pain will fade. Trust that you are healing even if you don't feel it yet, and trust that one day you'll look back at this moment as just another chapter in your story, not the whole book. What others think of you is irrelevant. Live for yourself, not for approval. From the moment we are born, we are conditioned to seek approval. As children, we crave validation from parents and teachers. As teenagers, we obsess over fitting in, making sure we don't stand out too much or risk judgment. And as adults, the need for acceptance doesn't disappear, it just shifts. We start worrying about what coworkers think, what family members expect, what society says we should do, say, or be. The problem is, living for approval is a never-ending race, and no matter how hard you try, you will never satisfy everyone. Opinions are like mirrors in a funhouse. They distort reality. What one person admires, another person will criticize. What one person finds impressive, another will dismiss. If you try to shape yourself to fit every expectation, you will lose yourself in the process. The truth is, most people are not even thinking about you as much as you think they are. They are too busy dealing with their own insecurities, fears, and problems. And even when they do have opinions about you, those opinions are not facts. Think about this. Have you ever judged someone based on limited information? Maybe you made an assumption about a stranger, a coworker, or even a friend before you knew the full story. Now flip that around. How many people do you think have done the same to you? People see only a small fraction of who you are. They don't know your full story, your struggles, or your heart. Yet too often, we let their shallow opinions dictate our actions, emotions, and even our self-worth. Fear of judgment is one of the greatest prisons people live in. It stops them from speaking their truth, from pursuing their dreams, from being authentic. Some people never go after what they truly want because they're afraid of what others will think if they fail. Some people stay in relationships that no longer serve them because they're scared of how it will look if they leave. Some people avoid taking risks because they don't want to be criticized. But here's the harsh reality. No matter what you do, someone will have something to say about it. The person who takes bold action will be called reckless. The person who plays it safe will be called boring. The person who speaks up will be told they talk too much. The person who stays quiet will be told they're too reserved. You cannot win this game. The only way to truly win is to stop playing. Imagine for a moment that you are completely free from the opinions of others. What would you do differently? How would you live? What choices would you make? That freedom is available to you right now if you choose it. The only opinion that truly matters is your own, because at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with the decisions you make. No one else is walking in your shoes, feeling your emotions, or facing your challenges. So why give them the power to dictate your life? There is nothing more powerful than a person who is unapologetically themselves. When you stop chasing approval, you attract respect. When you stop fearing judgment, you become unstoppable. People will always have opinions, but you decide whether those opinions shape your reality. Stop comparing and judging. Focus on your own journey. Comparison is one of the biggest thieves of joy. In a world where everyone's highlight reel is on display, it's easy to feel like you're not enough. You scroll through social media and see someone traveling the world while you're stuck in your routine. You hear about a friend's promotion while you're struggling to make ends meet. You see someone in a happy relationship while you're still healing from a heartbreak. And suddenly, your own life feels smaller, less significant, not as good. But what you're seeing is not the full story. It's just a curated version of reality. Every person is on a different timeline. Some people find success early, while others bloom later. Some people settle down young, while others take years to find the right partner. Some people seem to have it all figured out, while others are still searching. And all of it is okay. Life is not a race, and there is no single path to fulfillment. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you are measuring yourself against a completely different set of circumstances, experiences, and challenges. It's like comparing a seed to a fully grown tree and wondering why you're not the same. Think about a time when someone judged you unfairly. Maybe they assumed something about you that wasn't true. Maybe they dismissed your struggles because they couldn't see what was happening behind the scenes. It probably felt frustrating, even painful. Now, consider how often you might be doing the same to others. You never truly know what someone is going through. The person who seems successful may be battling silent struggles. The person who appears lost may be on the verge of a breakthrough. Everyone is fighting battles you cannot see, which is why comparison and judgment are both pointless. Instead of wasting energy on what others are doing, turn that energy inward. What do you want? What makes you happy? What steps can you take to move forward in your own life? The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Growth isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than your past self. When you stop comparing and judging, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and negativity. You stop feeling like you're behind. You stop worrying about how others are living. You start appreciating your own path, focusing on your own progress, and finding gratitude for exactly where you are. What others think of you is irrelevant. Live for yourself, not for approval. From the time you were a child, you were taught to seek approval. You wanted your parents to be proud, your teachers to acknowledge you, your friends to accept you. It started with small things, being told to behave a certain way, dress a certain way, speak in a certain manner. And as you grew older, this need for validation didn't disappear, it just evolved. You started worrying about what your coworkers thought of you, how strangers perceived you, what society expected of you. It became a constant loop of trying to fit into a mold, of making sure you weren't stepping too far outside of what was considered acceptable. The truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion about it. The bigger truth is, those opinions do not matter. Every single person sees the world through their own lens. Their perspective is shaped by their experiences, their upbringing, their beliefs. Two people can look at the exact same situation and see it completely differently. One person may admire you for being bold and ambitious, while another may think you are reckless and arrogant. One person may praise you for being kind and generous, while another may think you are weak and naive. The point is, you will never be able to control how others perceive you, because their perception has more to do with them than it does with you. You could spend your entire life trying to please others, trying to fit into the version of yourself that they expect, and it still wouldn't be enough. The more you mold yourself to what others want, the more you lose sight of who you really are. The weight of constantly adjusting yourself to gain approval is exhausting, and the worst part is it's never ending. If you base your self-worth on validation from others, you will always be chasing something outside of yourself. You will always feel like you need to do more, be more, change more. But the second you realize that other people's opinions are not your responsibility, you set yourself free. There is nothing more powerful than a person who is unapologetically themselves, a person who speaks their mind without fear of judgment, a person who makes choices based on what feels right for them, not on what will impress others. A person who stands firm in their values, regardless of who agrees or disagrees. When you live for yourself instead of approval, you stop fearing rejection. You stop second-guessing your every move. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you in the first place. The fear of what others think is one of the biggest roadblocks to success. How many people have held themselves back from taking a chance because they were afraid of criticism? How many dreams have been abandoned because someone was worried about looking foolish? The irony is the people whose opinions you fear the most are often the ones doing the least. The ones who criticize loudly are usually the ones who never took risks themselves. Meanwhile, the people who are truly successful, the ones who are out there creating and growing and thriving, they are too focused on their own journey to judge yours. No one else is living your life. No one else is walking in your shoes. No one else understands the depths of your thoughts, the weight of your struggles, the magnitude of your dreams. So why would you give them the power to dictate your choices? The only person who has to live with your decisions is you. The only voice that truly matters is yours. The moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you take control of your life. Stop comparing and judging. Focus on your own journey. Comparison is a trap that steals joy, confidence, and motivation. It is easy to look at someone else's life and feel like you are falling behind. You see someone who is younger than you achieving more, and you start questioning if you are doing enough. You see someone in a happy relationship while you are still single, and suddenly your own journey feels inadequate. You see someone who seems to have everything together, and you wonder why you are still figuring things out. But what you are seeing is only the surface. You are seeing a highlight reel, not the full picture. No one has a perfect life. Every single person is facing battles you cannot see. The person who looks successful may be dealing with personal struggles you know nothing about. The couple that seems happy may have problems behind closed doors. The person who always seems confident may be fighting internal doubts. The problem with comparison is that you are measuring your reality against someone else's carefully curated image. You are judging your behind-the-scenes moments against their best moments, and that is never a fair comparison. Everyone's journey is different. Some people find success early, others take longer to discover their path. Some people meet the love of their life at a young age, others experience heartbreak before finding the right person. Some people seem to have a smooth road, others face more obstacles. But there is no single timeline for happiness or achievement. There is no universal standard for when things should happen in your life. The only timeline that matters is yours. Judging others is just as harmful as comparing yourself to them. It is easy to look at someone else's choices and assume we know what is best for them. It is easy to criticize someone for how they live, what they believe, or the decisions they make. But judgment is often a reflection of our own insecurities. When we judge someone, we are projecting our own fears and biases onto them. We assume that our way is the right way, that our experiences give us the authority to decide what is best for someone else. But just like we don't want others to judge us without understanding our full story, we should not do the same to them. The best way to break free from comparison and judgment is to focus on your own path. When you put all your energy into growth, improvement, and gratitude for where you are, you stop worrying about where others are. Instead of looking at someone else's success and feeling envy, you use it as inspiration. Instead of judging someone for their choices, you remind yourself that everyone is doing the best they can with the knowledge and experiences they have. Instead of wasting time wishing you were in someone else's position, you take action to create the life you want. No one's journey looks the same. No one's struggles are identical. Everyone is figuring things out at their own pace in their own way. The more you focus on what others are doing, the less time you have to build your own life. The more you judge someone else, the more negativity you invite into your own mind. The only real competition you have is with the person you were yesterday. The only comparison that matters is between who you are now and who you have the potential to become. The only thing you should be focusing on is your own progress, your own happiness, your own growth. Stop thinking so much. It's all right not to know the answers. Overthinking is a silent killer of progress, confidence, and peace of mind. It creates problems that don't exist, magnifies fears, and keeps people stuck in cycles of doubt. The mind races with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, analyzing every possibility, every outcome, every small detail. But the truth is, no one has all the answers. Life is unpredictable, and no amount of thinking will ever eliminate uncertainty. Clarity comes from action, not endless analysis. Sometimes the only way to figure things out is to take the next step and learn as you go. Trying to control every variable is exhausting and impossible. The greatest breakthroughs happen when people trust themselves enough to move forward, even without all the answers. The mind is powerful, but it should be a tool, not a prison. When overthinking takes over, it robs the present moment and creates fear where there should be faith. Growth happens outside of comfort zones, not in the safety of over-analyzing. No one is in charge of your happiness except you. Happiness is not something that comes from external circumstances, relationships, or achievements. It is a mindset, a choice, a way of being. Too often, people give away their power by tying their happiness to things outside their control, waiting for the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect situation. But happiness does not exist in the future. It exists in the present. No one else is responsible for making you feel fulfilled. No amount of approval, success, or material possessions will create lasting happiness if it doesn't come from within. Relying on others to create happiness is dangerous because it puts emotions in someone else's hands. True freedom comes when happiness is a personal responsibility. It is about choosing gratitude, focusing on what is within control, and finding joy in the small moments. Life will always have challenges, but happiness is about perspective, not perfection. Smile for you don't have all the problems in the world. A smile is one of the simplest yet most powerful things a person can do. It shifts energy, changes moods, and creates connection. Life is full of challenges, stress, and uncertainty, but no matter how difficult things seem, there is always something to be grateful for. The mind tends to focus on problems, on what is lacking, on what isn't going right, but shifting focus to what is good, even in the smallest ways, changes everything. A smile doesn't mean ignoring struggles or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to face life with resilience and hope. No matter what happens, there are people who care, moments of beauty, and reasons to keep going. A smile is not just for others, it's for yourself. It signals to the brain that things are okay, even in tough times. It breaks tension, brings lightness, and reminds you that life is not just about struggle. There is joy, there is laughter, and there is always a reason to keep moving forward. Smile for you don't have all the problems in the world. You've been through storms, you've faced challenges, you've had moments where you thought you wouldn't make it, but you did. And if you're still standing, that means you still have power, you still have choice, you still have control over how your story unfolds. You are not your past. You are not other people's opinions. You are not defined by your mistakes, your failures, or your fears. You are the creator of your life, and it's time you start acting like it. These 7 rules, they are not just words, they are not just ideas, they are a way of living, a way of stepping into your power, taking control, and making the most out of every single moment you have. So go out there and live. Live without fear. Live without regret. Live without waiting for permission, because this is your time, and this is your life. This is Tony Robbins' track. If this fired you up, make sure to subscribe, share, and step into the best version of you. Let's go.